check out the massive stag. I'm going to walk towards them very slowly. He's off. He's off. I walked in here, it's 3:30 today on Thursday, and I feel like I've got nothing for you. I've horridly lost my mojo this week. I'm arriving at the woods now for the first time. I'm like out of cycle because I was away on the weekend at a mate's incredible wedding, and it just knocked my cycle completely out. For the next 3 weekends I'm going to be here running small events. This week is a leadership weekend, which I'm really excited about, with friends who are leaders that don't have any maps. Next weekend I have the open hut day, which is going to be amazing. And the weekend after I'm hosting a retreat. But the bad thing about being here on weekends is that it completely knocks my habit and flow, and I'm realizing how important that cycle is, and how important it is to have this Thursday at 9 PM deadline, this weekly deadline. The fact that you guys watch this video and I've committed to doing them weekly means that I have some rigor, some system to my week, which helps the whole thing flow nicely. But this week I'm feeling very blocked. But it's amazing how just walking in the door here, I'm like, I haven't got anything to offer, I've got nothing to say. And the first thing I'm confronted with is these bloody massive deer stags that are just absolutely incredible. So literally I got my camera out just to tell you I've got nothing for you. And then I'm reminded that I'm part of something bigger, that actually the woods has something for you even if I don't. All I need to do is be here and let you come with me, and the videos take care of themselves. Anyway, let's see how these sunflowers are getting on. This one is so tall. I'm actually having, okay, almost there. Oh wow, look, the corn is coming out though. I haven't seen that before. Look at the corn. It's getting all wispy in here. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I'm excited about the corn on the cob now. Wow, they're finished. A few weeks ago you may have seen in Louis' vlog that about 25 of us went down the River Raider for Mike's stag do, and then all crashed here in the woods, which was amazing. And then 2 weeks ago I did an ancient Olympics with some pals, and one of the events was kayaking. And I've been thinking a lot about the difference between fighting and flowing. Oh wow, look at these mushrooms that have just sprung up. I need to get my food for free book out and see if they're edible. I would say that consistently in my life I've been a fighter. I have believed that when I face adversity I need to fight it and continue to plough on the path that I was on. I need to use grit, as Angela Duckworth says, to push through, using my growth mindset to use mistakes as an opportunity to learn and push forwards. But there's something else that I've been missing, that the water has been a great teacher for me of, which is learning the art of flowing, realizing that you are part of a bigger story, that it is not your will alone that gets you up or down a river. It's your intimate engagement with the environment that achieves anything. How many times have you, or do you know someone who is just going so hard, they're working so hard but not working smart because they're bullheaded? When we paddled for hours and hours and hours up the River Raider, 3 or 4 hours trying to go against the tide, waiting for the tide to turn, hoping it had turned, and we were getting nowhere fast, pushing each other, walking, dragging our boats. It was terrible. We went in for a beer and we gave up, and then someone screamed, "The tides have turned." And we ran back out, and by gosh, they had turned like 4 or 5 miles an hour. You just by bobbing along it, you know, in a life jacket in the water, you would be getting where you're going. It would be absolutely traumatic if you were trying to go in the other direction. It would be a horrible, horrible feeling. And it really made me think that when there's a blockage, when trying to achieve what you want to achieve is not happening easily, there is another option. Sometimes exactly what's called for is grit and determination, pushing through, overcoming adversity. But sometimes it's worth taking a moment and thinking, is the timing just wrong here? Maybe if I stop, have a beer for an hour and get in the water, I'll get there quicker with less energy than I would if I just plough through now. Maybe I could change my plan. If the tide's going that way, maybe I should change my goal. I found that until the last 2 years, I have just been pedaling, pushing for my goals, even if it nearly kills me. I think what I've learned through my academic research that I've seen come to life here whilst I've been in the woods, just like you saw as we walked through the door, is that we are part of a bigger story than ourselves. It's not us and other, we are part of something bigger together. And when we realise that, it places us in a different frame of mind, not so individualistic. And that actually the fight that I desire is not to overcome the adversity, but to fight to stay engaged with the flow. Because if I get in tune with the flow, we will be able to overcome what would seem insurmountable as an individual. Nature has an incredible way of showing me that I am very insignificant, but that what we humans have, what has kept us alive all these years, is not our strength, not our individualistic brute force, but our ability to cooperate, not just with each other, but with nature, to absorb what's going on and alter our plans to be agile on the basis of what's occurring naturally. And that is also what brings poetry and beauty and romance to our lives, is when we can understand that that is at the core of our existence, that relationship is at the core of our existence, that our ability to make anything manifest or occur in this life is because of our intimate engagement with something that we can perceive as other, but really is just another part of one unified body. It's a big bad boy looking mushroom that's been chowed down. I think we have to find ways to be consistent in an ever-changing environment, to be consistent in uncertainty. And so for me, I could force myself to make these videos on a Thursday this month, but actually I think, guys, for August it's going to be Tuesdays 9 PM. That's a commitment that I can make more easily, still able to get the content, still keeping the consistency, but actually going with the flow a bit of what's naturally happening here, rather than forcing my will onto the world. When I get back to the base and get my rucksack, there's a bunch of stuff I scribbled down that I would love to talk you guys through about where we're headed and where we're going. I guess that's the benefit of my flow being disrupted, is I've been able to start thinking more about the team and some broader thinking. So I'll share that with you in a minute after I find these deer again. The deer in the water. Can you see them? They're all there. Look at these awesome guys. Amazing. Number one, Tuesdays for August 9 PM. I already talked about that. Number two, in the top line of the description, go and click on the Medium article. This is where I lay out the plan for version 2 of Corcovado. Instead of it being a personal experiment where I have the odd guest and ask the odd person to come help, I want to see what would happen if we do a year-long social experiment. So everybody gets the chance to participate, to fund, to decision make, to stay, to work. Please do check that out and tell me what you think about it. The third thing, the Corcovado tour, November, December. I'm thinking that version 2 of Corcovado wouldn't start until 2018. My year in the woods is up here at the end of October. That will be 1 year of staying half the time in the woods. Go on. So what I was thinking was, in November and early December, I thought I would go on a tour around the UK, potentially even Europe, showing the film that we've made this year, bringing the woods to the city. So I'm still trying to figure out a venue for it and figure out exact dates, but here's how it's going to work. I've partnered with Venture Cinema. They are a mobile indoor and outdoor cinema rig, which means that I can go literally anywhere to do these evenings with you guys, where you'll get a glass of wine, get to exclusively watch this film that we've made, have a panel with a couple of guests that have been here, some of the guys that you'll recognize, and then also to do a Q&A and describe and chat and talk through some of the ideas for version 2. I think it'll be a really fun evening. I think it'll be really enjoyable, engaging, also a great way to showcase this film we've made rather than just sticking it online. I want to come to the cities that you guys respond from, because I know where you find one good person, you find more. Please, please, please put a comment below if you would like Corco Tour to come to your city. Once I've got the logistics locked down, we can put the tickets on sale. But my theory is if there's only 2 or 3 people, hopefully it'll be quite a special and intimate experience. And if there ends up being 50, 100, 200 people in each city, then hopefully it'll be a really great event because the buzz that will be there and you'll really get to meet like-minded people. That was rubbish. Oh dear, 4. The work groups. Having a bit more of an on-grid week, I've been able to start organising the Slack group, not just into a general chat of people that like Corcovado or support it, but actually 7 distinct work groups. The sun, the moon, the river, the earth, the hut, the deer and the butterfly teams, which each represent a different mode of thinking, a different way of creating, and actually a different part of working on and building the Corcovado community. The sun is all about overall strategy, how we organise the analog and digital parts of this community. The moon is about our inner journeys, how we engage with the unknown, how we grow personally on a deep being level. You could call it a spiritual level. The river is all about the academic work, how philosophy of intelligence and how that permeates all through society and how we educate and look after each other. The earth team is all about risk and innovation, thinking about business thinking and how that can impact this community and how we can equip people to think better with that. The hut is obviously all about how we build huts, how we design them, how we think about version 2, how we can get the most sustainable and effective, scalable solution for huts, not just for Corcovado here, but maybe for other hamlets or for people to build in their own places as well. The deer is all about how we think about other forms of intelligence, other kinds of species, how we think about machines and the future of artificial intelligence and virtual reality. Basically looks at ethics and social justice, how we engage with one another, and do we do it on a fair and just way. And the butterfly to finish is all about the arts, the production, what we create here in Corcovado, how we actually create and facilitate that kind of experience that leads to creativity, but then also how do we capture it and share that. You know, some of the songs that have been written for the documentary itself, how do we share those, create EPs, produce them, the handbook, how do we publish that and send that out so people can engage with it. So those are the 7 teams, and I've been able to do that thing in this week, so I guess it's not all that bad being on grid for a little bit, but it just feels like this is where the magic happens. And I guess I cash in on that magic when I'm working on grid. But anyway, the final thing that I'm very excited to talk about is number 5. Oh dear, that'll do. Tree circles prototype. When Alfie, Sean and I did the van conversion, we then asked you what else would you like to see us DIY together. Unanimously, you all said tree houses. Now, as you know, I'm very focused on living lightly. How can we move everything that we build? Because we might move somewhere else, or we might have to sell the assets. So we don't know what the future holds. So how can we build with that in mind? However, I have seen an incredible video which kind of merges the little bike idea I had with tree platforms. And crucially, I'll stick it in now, you can see that this kind of tree platform idea is built on skinny trees with no branches. It goes round in a circle rather than being some house that's on stilts. And I think it's time that we start working on version 1 of tree platforms for Corcovado and try and get a model that works on any size, any scale, not necessarily just tree houses, but platforms that we could build for anything, for sitting stations, for eating, picnics, could rope bridges between them, all sorts of different things. Basically the lightest possible way of doing tree houses that's easy to move, doesn't damage the tree. Again, something agile that we can take with us if we move. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to swap hands. Oh, my left arm. Of course, some of the vloggers who use the big old Sony cameras must have absolute hench shoulders of steel. I know it's not a normal video, but this is just what it is this week. And that's what recording this journey is trying to actually show you what actually happens each week that I'm here. And this week's a weird one. I guess this week I'm really valuing on-grid lifestyle. We'll see what next week has to offer. I will see you next Tuesday at 9 PM and hopefully that will get my mojo back. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you next week.